I've never heard a woman say college is a scam.
It's just not men that's saying this. Women understand that, yeah, for some, college is a scam. Subscribe. Let's talk about it.
Not to sound like that, but I've never heard I've never heard a woman say college is a scam. It's always men. I could be wrong. Don't think I am, though.
Listen, going to college doesn't stop you from having bad takes like that, right? That's a bad take. That's a silly thing to say. Having a nose ring doesn't make you inherently dumb, but that's another bad take. But when you see people make some of these claims, think about it for a second. For this full disclaimer, there's women in her comment section saying, no, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. We're going to do let's do a little bit larger pullback idea about just thinking about this. People can say that college is a scam. I think men say that often because they're looking at college as we were taught to look at it, a means to an end. The people with bachelor's degrees were supposed to be out earning people without easily. When I was in high school or when I was in elementary school, this is what they were telling us. They were pushing you to go to college. But back then, it didn't seem so much of a scam because college was affordable or more affordable. I'm not saying it's absolutely affordable because people in my cohort definitely walked away with massive student loans. But there was still an avenue for affordability, especially if you went to college or you grew up in New York or you were smart enough to get scholarships. There was a lane you can occupy. I made it through an undergrad and a graduate degree, zero debt. Paid my way through those. But it wasn't fun. It sucked. But at that point, did those degrees immediately turn around and say, this is why you can get a high paying job? This is a scam part. They don't get into the nuance of the discussion, but we're about to. But before that, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. We're still going strong. Still trying to do 2 a day. Still trying to pump these things out. Also trying to throw lives in there. New shorts, new ideas, new frames, all this. We're building something, right? So just join. Like the video, share the video, hype the video. We got merch in the store. So look, this is a very simple thing, right? And of course, we'll talk about very briefly how you like to blame men and saying how it's the men their fault. No, men are looking at things practically. You said if I got this job, I'd get bread. Turns out you lied to me. Right? I got debt. And then I go with my degree and I go in front and say, hey, Mr. Man, I'd like to apply for this job. They turn around and say, yeah, cool. You got the degree. I need 25 years experience. You're like, yo, I'm 22 years old. You're like, it is what it is. We've moved on from just the degree being a guarantor of blah, blah, blah. This is the scam part. You told me if I did X, I'd be able to do Y. Yeah, now I can't do that Y. This is the scam part. When you say that you only hear men saying this, you don't hear women saying this, I don't think because women are going and getting the same degrees or going to college for the same reason. One, it seems like there's a status attached to that. Two, I say this because they're not obtaining degrees in fields that historically have paid better, the STEM fields. Science, technology, engineering, math. These fields typically are going to get you the higher paying outcome. But what you do instead, you go in things that you're interested in. And there's nothing wrong with that, but understand that what you're interested in, what you're passionate about, does not necessarily pay you. But no one told you that. They just said degree. You get a degree in liberal arts. You get a degree in there was a famous little reel going around where they were saying I got a degree in the intersectionality of blah 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 blah. There's no job out there outside of going to another liberal sort of college and trying to teach there. But again, those jobs are kind of full. They're not looking to hire you, but you can get whatever major in whatever you want to. You get a degree in philosophy. What does that turn around to? You're going to make 6 figures because you're a philosopher? You're not. Hey, some of these things you're getting degrees in, they're not going there and telling you, stop. It's not going to get you the outcome you think. You're going to be doing this, and then you're going to be searching for jobs amongst high schoolers. You're going to work realtor right next to high schoolers. You're going to be at McDonald's right next to high schoolers. Right next to high schools and people that just entered into this country, and guaranteed they're going to be willing to work a lot harder because they don't see any other option for you. This is the scam part. Being able to call that out and identify that is more or less a failing just on the creator's part. Again, women in the comment section saying, yo, you're absolutely right. It is a scam. There's a large group of people that feel like that, especially amongst Black women. When you look at how many are outside of the workforce now, through the ending of DEI, through the changing of administrations, you very much say that, hey, this degree that I have in whatever, this is not enough for me to survive in this economy. And it's not simply this economy, this presidency, this administration. This has been just the focus ongoing for such a long time. You got these degrees and they just said, okay, all we care is about that you have an undergrad, you have a bachelor's, and that's enough. Now the economy is shifting. Now it's becoming tougher. Now you have to compete. Now you can't get that job that is the difference between a job and a career. You can't get the career, so you can't unlock the other perks of being an adult. You can't really afford to do the things that we say, yo, you're an adult, you could do what you want. You can't travel whenever you want. You can't buy a house. You can't buy cars. Everything has to be financed over a longer period of term under unfavorable loans, under favorable interest rates. That's what you're subject to because the job is the first outlier, the outlook. You can't. You're saddled with massive debt for a piece of paper that may be hanging on your wall and looking at you and saying, I never told you to obtain me. What are you supposed to do now? This feels like the scammy part when you're hoping that the right administration will take your idea to the ballot box and carry it forward and they'll cancel your student debt. You've been scammed because they can't even tell you the truth behind it and say, yo, economically, we can't even afford to do something like that. It makes no sense for us. The massive, the trillion, no, we don't have the line item. We can't just scratch off a trillion from the registry. This is why it's a scam part. They lied to you when they push you to go to college. They lied to you when they said you can obtain this loan. Well, they didn't lie about that. You can't obtain a loan. But they never told you should. They never told you that you'd be able to get a job that's going to pay this back and do the other parts of life. And when we look at who's mainly enrolled in colleges, it shows you who are the ones really falling for this. We like to say that men are falling behind because they're not getting these degrees, as if the degree is the metric of success. You've got more degrees, you're the more credentialed, yet that's not translated into you making more money. That's not translating you to having a higher net worth. So this is the part of it that becomes kind of scammy. We lied to you, especially women. We lied to you. We said, yo, especially Black women. You say, hey, do this and shit'll be gravy. Shit'll be fantastic. And you ran with it. Never fact checked on your own. Never thought to do the things that college was supposed to teach you to do. No, we went in there. We continued to pander to you, to tell you it's all right. They're wrong. You're going to be doing better. Look at you. Here are all the data points that you need to know that makes it seem like you are doing better. You're getting more degrees. These men ain't. What's wrong with the boys? Let's read the documentary. Hey, let's read this. The truth is, when we look at these outcomes, when we're looking at life, that's the outcome we got to look at. After college, into your later years, you're not always going to be in college to see, hey, you got a master's degree. Okay, how much debt do you have? Are you where you want to be financially? Can you retire? Can you even talk about that word retire? Or are these degrees supposed to be the thing that holds you over? The amount of women being let go from the workforce, the amount of jobs being left, the amount of unions collapsing. At some point, we have to realize that college is not the end all be all. I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. I'm a fan of higher education. But the idea that we're pushing that you have to go, and this is this metric of success that we chase and we use that to determine even how we date, even how we love, even who qualifies for our attention, that becomes foolish. That becomes a scam. But look, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos. And of course, if you listen to sound my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.